外資系で働いている皆さん、会社で取引先と名刺交換の時に、英語でどう自己紹介しますか？多くの方なら、I am Tanaka, I am an accountant みたいな言い方を使うでしょう。印象を残したいし、これからも仲良くなっていきたいかもしれないんですが、実はですね、この言い方は相手との距離が縮まりにくい要因になっているかもしれません。
I am Tanaka, I am a designer.
Okay. I'm Arthur, I work in sales. それってなぜでしょうか？文法的に間違っているわけではないのですが、あなたが伝えたいことと大きく変わってしまうからです。文法とか英語のフレーズを学ぶだけではなく、英語の感覚を理解するいい機会になるので、今回の動画では、1、なぜこの言い方がおかしく聞こえるのか。2、自然な言い方とその理由。3、シーン別の特別パターンと新入社員の言い方を一緒に学びましょう。第一印象はその後の人間関係や商談の結果にも大きく影響してくるので、ぜひ最後までご覧くださいね。よろしくお願いします。So there are two reasons why saying I am an accountant or I am a salesperson would feel strange in this situation where you exchange business cards. One is grammatical and another is cultural. Let's look at them one by one. So the first reason, the grammatical one, is that if you introduce yourself as I am an accountant, you're saying you work for a different company than the one they are expecting.
Nice to meet you. I'm Hu. I'm an accountant.
Oh, that's nice. Where do you work?
At this company.
Here?
Yes?
But you said you work at a different company?
No?
Huh? Now, why is that? It's because of one word, the word Now, I know that and the are confusing, but a key point to using them naturally is to use them depending on the knowledge you and the other person share. Well, what do I mean by that? Is used when the other person doesn't know or understand what you are talking about. And the is used when they do understand. For example, if I say, there's a man there, it means you don't know what man I am talking about. So anyways, Fuyu, as I was saying, wait, look, there's a man.
What? I wonder who it is.
But if I say, there's the man, it means you know what man I am talking about. Maybe we were talking about him in a conversation before, but when I say the man, you know who he is. All right, so anyways, for you, as I was saying, look, there's the man.
Oh, Johnny?
Yeah, that's Johnny. So what does that mean for this business situation? Well, if you say, I am an accountant, it means I am an accountant at a company you don't know of or a different company than what you think. Now, this works fine at business networking situations where people don't know you. They don't know the company you work for. But at work with a client, well, they know the company you work for, this one. And so in that situation, you're basically saying, my name is Tanaka. You know where I work, but you don't know where I work. It's a contradiction. It feels strange. So what do native speakers say instead? Well, in this situation where in Japan you'd trade business cards with someone who has a connection with you and they know where you work, when you introduce yourself, instead of saying, I am an accountant, you can say, I work in accounting. And this pattern works for everyone. I'm Sarah. I work in marketing. I'm Mike. I work in sales. I'm Dennis. I work in the mailroom. Notice the difference here. It's not I am job. It's I work in department. It's I action. And this is a great opportunity to learn of a cultural difference that, if you understand, can help make your English sound a lot more natural. So let's look at the cultural reason why saying I am an accountant feels strange. You know, a lot of Japanese people tend to explain things in terms of labels. 仕事の話だと、My job is sales. 趣味だと、My hobby is collecting vintage spoons. 自分のアイデンティティの場合でも、I'm a Japanese という人がとても多いです。The phrase is the same. It's always this is that. This equals that. It's putting labels on something. And you know, it makes sense. Japan is traditionally a society based on hierarchy, based on 上下関係. Everyone has their decided spot. But in places like Europe and America, less emphasis is put on hierarchy. In fact, people avoid using labels. They want to be more flexible. They want to focus on that flat relationship. The focus is on the action, not the identity. That's why it's I work in accounting. The focus is on I work, not I am. My work is not my identity. It's just something I do. All right, so we just learned the basic way to introduce yourself when you exchange business cards in English. But what about your specific job? What should you say then? Well, let's look at that together. I made a list of common jobs and what you would say in English for introducing yourself. And maybe your job is there. Now remember, this is for when you're talking with someone, maybe a client or someone that has a connection who knows the company you work at. If you're talking with someone who knows nothing about you, maybe at a business networking meeting, the way you say it will be a little different. And I shared that in another video. So let's look at the list together. Here are some common jobs and how to introduce them naturally. For 会計士, you can say, I work in accounting. 営業は I work in sales. 人事は I work in HR. Or I work in human resources. マーケティングは I work in marketing. エンジニアは I work in engineering. I'm with the tech team. デザイナーは I work in design. 法務は I work in legal. 財務は I work in finance. Project manager は I work in project management. Customer support は I work in customer support. 品質管理は I work in quality control. Whew. All right, let's look at some more. 研究開発は I work in R&D. 総務は I work in administration or I work in general affairs. IT は I work in IT. I'm with the IT department. コンサルタントは I work in consulting. The key is focusing on what you do rather than putting that label on yourself. Now, that's good if you have a defined role at a company, but what if you're a 新入社員? What if you're new to the company and you're a 新入社員 with no specific role yet? You don't know what your job is. Well, that's a perfect question. In this situation, you can simply say, I'm new here. Notice this follows the pattern we learned. I'm new here. I adjective here. This is describing you. It's not saying I am a new employee. It's saying I'm new here. So why here? Well, here is the company that you're an employee at. The other person knows your company. So if you say here, they know what you're talking about. And you can also add details to make it more natural. You could also say, I started 3 months ago. I started last week. I just joined the company. Something like that. OK, まとめに入りましょう。今日学んだポイントは3つです。I am a より I work in の言い方の方が自然です。I work in sales. I work in marketing. I work in accounting. 2. 英語圏では自分にラベルをつけるのを避ける傾向があるので、何をするかで自己紹介します。趣味も I do 何々 in my free time です。3. 新入社員の場合は素直に伝える。 I'm new here. I started last week. I just joined the company. では早速練習してみましょう。今日学んだことを使ってあなたの仕事をどう紹介しますか？コメント欄で書いてくださいね。今回の動画では職場での自己紹介の仕方を学んだかもしれませんが、英語を実際に話せるようになるにはどうしたらいいのでしょうか？ほとんどの方は英語のフレーズや文法をたくさん学ぶのに、いきなり外国人の対面して使う機会が来ても頭が真っ白になって言葉が出てこないという壁にぶつかってしまいます。僕自身も日本語を4年間勉強したのですが、実際に日本に行ったら全く話せなくて本当に悔しい思いをしました。でもそこで気づきました。英語実際に話せるようになる鍵はもっと勉強するのではなく、英語を実際に話す感覚を身につけることです。それができたら僕と数百人の僕の生徒が気軽に楽しく話せるようになって人生が劇的に変わりました。その実際に話す感覚を身につけた方法はただいま無料動画講座にまとめましたので、興味のある方はぜひこちらをクリックするか、概要欄にあるリンクをタップするか、こちらの QR コードをスキャンしてご登録ください。As always, enjoy your English adventures. これからも一緒に世界とつながりましょう。See you next time. Bye.